You want to know what real pain feels like? It's not the moment she admits it. It's way before that. It's the night you pulled her close and something felt off. That warmth that used to hit you like a wave, gone. That electricity between your bodies, dead. And the scariest part? You felt it. Deep in your gut, you felt it. But you told yourself, nah, I'm tripping. That right there, that moment of self-betrayal, that's where the real damage begins. Because the truth is, women rarely confess out loud. But their behavior, it screams. And if you don't know what to look for, you'll spend months, maybe years, being the last man in the room to know what everyone else already sees. That ends today. I'm breaking down 8 signs that give away a woman who just slept with someone else. Signs most men completely miss until the damage is already done. And trust me, the last one? It's the one she physically cannot hide, no matter how hard she rehearses. Stay locked in until the end, because that sign alone will change how you see everything. And real quick, if this kind of raw, no-filter content hits different for you, smash that subscribe button right now and drop a like. I'm putting out videos every week that most men never hear about until it's too late. Now let's get into it. Sign number 1. Her body goes cold without warning. Here's something nobody talks about honestly. When you've been with a woman long enough, you don't just know her words. You know her energy. You know the way she leans into you without thinking. You know the warmth in her touch when it's real. You know what desire feels like through a simple brush of her hand. And you also know, deep in your bones, when that current just dies. This is the sign that breaks men the most because it doesn't come at you loud. It creeps in quiet. You go to kiss her, and she shifts her face, just slightly. You put your hand on her back in bed, and instead of her melting into you, she stiffens up like she's tolerating it. She says she's tired, but bro, exhaustion feels different from indifference. Exhaustion still holds space for you. Indifference pushes you out without saying a word. Here's the hard truth most men refuse to sit with. When a woman has been with another man, she doesn't come back to you starving for you. She comes back full. And when she's full from somewhere else, there is no room for you at the table. Men make the mistake of explaining it away. It's stress. It's our age. It's just what happens in long relationships. Nah. Desire doesn't die of old age. It redirects. So don't beg, don't chase harder. Pull back. Watch if the gap closes on its own or if it widens even more. A woman who still wants you will reach back. A woman who's already moved on will let that silence settle like it belongs there. Sign number 2. The cleansing ritual. Pay attention to this one because it's subtle and it'll mess with your head if you don't understand what it actually means. When a woman has been with someone else, she doesn't walk through your door carrying the evidence on her skin. She walks in smelling too clean, a new perfume you don't recognize, a shower that went on longer than usual, clothes that got changed for no logical reason, underwear that doesn't match the rest of her day. On the surface, it looks like she's just taking care of herself, but what's actually happening is she's erasing. She's not just cleaning her body, she's trying to clean her conscience. She knows her skin holds stories, she knows hair carries traces, she knows fabric remembers contact. So she scrubs it all away and walks back in like nothing happened with that too perfect smile that feels practiced. And here's where men gaslight themselves. You smell it, you notice it, but you say, she just likes feeling fresh. That's how you become an accomplice to your own replacement. Let me be clear, one shower is not a red flag. The pattern is the red flag. If a woman who never rushed to clean up after work is suddenly obsessed with it, if she's guarding her laundry like it's classified documents, that's not self-care. That's a cover-up, and once you see it for what it is, you can't unsee it. Sign number 3. Suddenly, everything you do is wrong. This one stings because it feels so unfair. You walk through the door and before you even say hello, she's snapping at you. You loaded the dishwasher wrong. You're breathing too loud. You're somehow both too attentive and not attentive enough at the same time. And you're standing there thinking, what did I even do? Here's the psychology behind it, and once you understand this, it'll never manipulate you again. Guilt is heavy, and when a person can't confess their guilt, they transfer it. If she can paint you as the problem, controlling, boring, inattentive, she rewrites the story in her own head. In her version, she didn't step out because she wanted to. She stepped out because you drove her there. That's projection at its most brutal. She's not angry at you. She's angry at herself, and you're just the closest target. The trap men fall into is defending themselves. You argue, you explain, you try to out-logic her irritation. And every time you do, you hand her more ammunition. Stop playing defense. The next time she snaps over something ridiculous, look her in the eye, stay calm, and say it straight. You don't have to fight to justify what you've already decided. Then step back, not out of weakness, out of power. When you refuse to play the villain she cast you as, her whole script falls apart. And the guilt? It sits right back where it belongs, with her. And if you're finding this valuable, hit that subscribe button. Every week I drop content that cuts right through the noise. You don't want to miss what's coming up next. Now back to it. Sign number 4. Her body tells the truth. Her mouth won't. A woman can rehearse her excuses until they sound airtight. She can manage her expressions, control her tone, choose her words carefully. But her body operates on a completely different frequency. And that frequency doesn't lie. You know her. You know her rhythms, her warmth, the way she moves around you. So when something shifts, even slightly, you feel it before you can explain it. Maybe she seems unusually tense. Maybe she's unusually relaxed in a way that feels wrong. Maybe her physical responses are either completely absent or strangely overperformed, like she's running a script. Men explain it away with hormones, with stress, with age, and sometimes those things are real. But when the shift is sudden and it breaks the pattern you've known for years, you owe it to yourself to be honest. Because ignoring what your senses already picked up is the fastest route to self-humiliation. Stop overcompensating. Stop throwing more effort, more affection, more patience at something that your instincts already flagged. Pull back. Observe the consistency of the change. You're not gathering evidence for a courtroom. You're giving yourself permission to trust what you already know. Strength isn't denial. Strength is having the guts to face what you already feel, even when it burns. Sign number 5. She comes back overly sweet and it feels fake. Not all betrayal shows up cold. Some of it walks through your door with hugs, kisses, and sudden bursts of "I love you." And it messes with you the most because it plays directly on your hope. You've been feeling her drift. You've sensed the distance. And then out of nowhere, she's warm again. She's holding your hand. She's cooking your favorite food. She's saying all the right things. And your heart wants to say, she came back. But here's what's actually happening. She didn't come back to you. She's trying to come back to herself. That affection isn't for you. It's a guilt payment. It's how she quiets the voice in her head that's telling her who she really is right now. The mistake men make is taking it as a second chance. You drop your guard, you relax, you think the storm is over, but what you've actually become is her emotional comfort blanket, the safe place she returns to while her passion burns somewhere else entirely. Test the source. Ask yourself, does this affection come with consistency, or only in waves after she's been gone or distant? Does she touch you with real desire or with obligation? Does it feel warm, or does it feel rehearsed? Because love doesn't need theater. Real connection doesn't spike right after guilt. If her sweetness feels more like an apology than a desire, you already know what it is. Sign number 6. She's there, but she's not there. This is the one that cuts the deepest because it doesn't announce itself. You're together. Everything looks normal from the outside, but something is missing. And that something is her. She's present physically, but completely absent in every way that actually matters. You look at her eyes during intimate moments, and there's nothing looking back. No sync, no spark, no soul. She's somewhere else, mentally replaying something that has nothing to do with you. That's not intimacy. That's performance. And a woman who is emotionally absent like that? She's already gone. You just haven't been told yet. Men respond by trying harder. More affection, more effort, more patience. Like if they just give enough, she'll snap back into it. But the more you push at that emptiness, the further she disappears, because her fire isn't gone. It's just burning somewhere you're not. Stop chasing ghosts. Recognize when her soul isn't meeting yours and respect yourself enough to acknowledge it. Being physically next to someone who isn't truly with you isn't love. It's humiliation wearing love's clothes. Sign number 7. She's always late, and the excuses are getting thin. When a woman still desires you, she finds her way back to you, even on her busiest days, even when life is chaotic. But when the fire shifts, suddenly the clock becomes your enemy. She's late. Again. And again. And the stories get thinner each time. Work ran over. Her phone died. A friend needed her. At first you give grace because, yeah, life is messy. But when messy becomes a pattern, when lateness becomes her default, that's not life. That's priority. And you've slipped off the top of that list. Here's what most men don't realize. Every time she comes home late and you let it slide without saying a word, you're training her. You're teaching her that your time, your worth, your dignity, all of it is negotiable. Don't interrogate. Don't demand a full timeline. Just state it plainly. You weren't here, and that tells me everything I need to know. Then let the silence do the work. Because a woman who still chooses you will always come home. Not perfect, not always on time, but consistently. If she's consistently choosing elsewhere, she's already home somewhere else. Last CTA before the final sign. If this is hitting home for you, subscribe right now and share this with a brother who needs to hear it. The last sign is the one no woman can fake her way through, no matter how good her game is. Let's finish this. Sign number 8. Her story starts falling apart. Stories are fragile. You can rehearse them, polish them, repeat them until they sound airtight. But apply pressure, and the cracks show. When a woman has crossed the line, her story eventually collapses under its own weight. You've seen the early versions of it. She comes home with words tumbling out too fast. Details that shift the second time around. A timeline that doesn't add up if you actually think about it. And her eyes, this is the tell. They stop holding yours. They dart, they drop, they flicker with something she's trying to hold back. That's not stress. That's deception struggling to hold itself together. Most men make the mistake of hunting for a smoking gun. Undeniable proof, hard evidence, a confession. But the truth doesn't always show up with a receipt. It shows up in inconsistencies. It shows up in the way her story wobbles, the more she tells it. And here's the power move. Stop demanding explanations from someone who survives on confusion. When her story starts crumbling, you don't argue with it. You step out of it. You don't beg her to make it make sense. You don't yell for a confession. You simply decide, I don't believe you, and I don't need to anymore. That's not an accusation. That's a boundary. That's the moment you stop being the man she manipulates and become the man who sets the line. Here's the real talk to close this out. These 8 signs aren't here to turn you into a paranoid detective looking for problems that aren't there. They're here to stop you from betraying yourself. Because the harshest betrayal in any relationship isn't what she does behind your back. It's what you allow yourself to stay blind to when the signs are sitting right in front of you. Not every single sign means it's over. Sometimes distance is stress. Sometimes coldness is pain from something you're both going through. And that's why your first job isn't to accuse. It's to observe, to test, to have the direct conversation. If there's something worth repairing, you repair it. You reset the boundaries. You fight for the connection. You choose each other deliberately. But if the signs stack up, if your gut, your eyes, and every pattern you've noticed all point in the same direction, then the most powerful thing you can do is walk away with your dignity completely intact. Because no love, no woman, no relationship is worth trading your self-respect for. That's non-negotiable. So here's your challenge. Pick one situation right now where you've been ignoring your instincts. The coldness, the irritation, the stories that never quite add up. Face it. Decide if it's something you can solve together, or if it's the end of the line. Either way, that decision belongs to you. Not to her lies, not to your fears, to you. Now hit subscribe, drop a like, and share this with a man who's been carrying this weight alone. And leave a comment. Have you ever spotted one of these signs? How did you handle it? Your story might be the exact thing that wakes another man up before it's too late. This isn't the end. This is you taking back your power, your clarity, and your right to love without ever losing yourself in the process.